Welcome to the Remembering, mastering the unseen to live your soul's truth. We're your hosts. I'm intuitive oracle Jamie Wozny.
And I am intuitive energy healer Rachael Thompson. And this is your sacred space to reconnect with your divine essence, explore unseen realms, and remember who you truly are.
Through deep conversations, intuitive wisdom, and energetic healing, we guide you to trust your inner voice, activate your gifts, and master the magic within.
Let's journey home together. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Remembering. In this episode, we are going to be talking about safety and many different aspects of safety, how it can be a subconscious resistance point to moving forth, to manifesting, how it can manifest in our lives, our patterns, our bodies. Both Jamie and I are experiencing this in different ways, different expressions of it. And so we thought that we would make that the topic for this week's episode. So how you doing, James?
Great. Rach, how are you doing?
So great.
I'm feeling safe. How are you?
I'm trying my best.
Wow. I can't magic, the divine timing of this conversation. I was going to do an Instagram live because I'm so passionate about this, but Spirit opened up this portal. It was like, this is the right time to have this conversation. If anyone is listening who has ever felt unsafe, that if I were to tell you probably like one of my deepest wounds of the thing I felt the most in my life, and that my partner would say to me, you know, if he had to like say, what does he deal with hearing Jamie say a lot, is feeling unsafe, internal. And so if you've dealt with trauma, if you've dealt with adverse childhood experiences, if you live in a world as ours, you probably know that feeling. And for me, it's such an elusive energy and it's such an elusive word. And it's like, how the hell do you even find safety in a world like this? So I'm excited to, hopefully my intention for you guys is that you get it on an in your bones tangible level, that we do a good job explaining it, that you try to open your mind beyond what you know, because it is a little bit like it's going to download into your knowing. It's okay if you don't fully understand it. And then it can leave you liberated, understanding that, well, we'll get into this topic, but this is what it's about, that safety isn't conditional. It's not based in conditions being rearranged a certain way. It's an unconditional state of being inside. And how do we find that? So, Rach, what's coming up for you around it? How's it showing up for you? And then I can kind of dive in deeper too to how it's showing up for me.
Yeah. I love how you prefaced it of, as you're listening to this conversation, allow it to hit in your own energy field, everyone listening, however it does, right? Because we are bringing forth a vibration through this conversation that opens up to a new sense of a new internal state. And it might bring up patterns or awareness to places that have been unconscious within. So for me, mine physically manifested in my body. I hurt my lower back today. I am kind of laid up in bed for however long it takes. And when I was tuning in, this has happened 3 times in my life. Each time is when I was in a transition point. Each time different, but each time in a transition point. So I'll briefly just kind of go over it. So the first time it happened is whenever I was shifting from, I had my Reiki office, my first time, my Reiki office, and I was doing a lot of free Reiki sessions, mini Reiki sessions, but nobody was booking. And I didn't feel supported. So there was a lack of support. And I feel that support and safety go hand in hand. They're different things, but they go hand in hand. To feel safe, you want to feel supported. So I didn't feel supported. The second time is right when I was making the transition from doing personal Reiki sessions to, actually, I took like a while off and I didn't do anything. And then I transitioned into what I'm doing now, which was a big shift and a big leap of faith. For anybody who doesn't know, it's I decided to stop doing personal sessions and only focus on creating YouTube videos and doing like bigger events. But it was a big leap. So what happened then? Again, it was a safety thing. It was, I didn't even know that that choice was going to be presented to me at the time that my back went out the second time, but my body did. My energy did. It knew I was at the precipice of this change.
Mm.
And I needed to give myself some time to rest so I could recalibrate and be ready to say yes to it. So that was the second time. And then this time, there is a big transitional point of, energies that I've been calling in, what I've been manifesting, and really showing up authentically me in every capacity, which is terrifying. And there is a part of me that does not feel safe doing that.
Mm.
So over the weekend, over the last couple of days, I've done a lot of rituals and different like spell work and baths, and like I really wanted to move this energy, and I moved a lot, but it almost feels like it kind of got. I moved it, but it got stuck. There was a part of me that was
Mm.
still holding on to it in my root. It really wasn't completely moved. And I didn't give myself that space to integrate it,
Mm.
to really feel what I needed to feel, to let it go. So I moved it and then wanted to move on with my life. And my body was like, nope, we need to put you into rest period. And because we have some things to tell you. And so when reflecting upon that, the first time not feeling supported, the second time was there, my energy was being called to shift in a totally different way. That took a big leap. And I needed to feel safe enough to say yes to that leap. And then this time it's almost like all of that is coming up. Like, will I be supported if
Mm.
if I'm truly myself? Will I be safe moving in and actually living all these manifestations that I have been aligning with? So it's a lot of it that's been brought up through this injury. So yeah, Jane, how's it been expressing for you?
Yeah, Rach, hopefully people can hear themselves in your story because, the irony is I'm thinking it's our last episode. I was saying I had a nice pack on my back one Friday.
Did. Oh my gosh, yes.
So Spirit's like, if you're not going to talk about it last week, oh, y'all got to talk about it now. We're going to give it to Rachel this time. God bless us.
We are going to make it undeniable. You need to talk about this.
We're like, you could have taught us another way.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, bless you, bless us, bless all of us. And, I think what's coming in for me too right now is for those of us listening, please hold yourself in major compassion for feeling unsafe. You didn't do it to yourself. And our bodies, I took a chronic healing course, a chronic disease healing course, a chronic whatever healing course. And I remember in there my teacher saying, our body takes a stand for us when we don't know how to do it yet.
Mm.
So it's really, it's painful. I know I've been there, we've been there. And could you open to the possibility of maybe 1% seeing that your body is trying to protect you in a way your conscious awareness doesn't know yet? Right. So if you weren't kept safe by your caregivers or whoever was in charge when you were young, you wouldn't know how to do that, And when we say safe, I was teaching a meditation about this earlier today. This is to me safety physically, safety emotionally, like what Rach is talking about, safety spiritually, safety energetically. So it's this internal sense of security and peace and well-being and okayness and capable resilience. There's kind of all of that grouped in there. And so I actually noticed mine because last night I was at a very safe, beautiful thing of a mutual friend of ours. I went to an event and it wasn't about the event. This is a pattern of mine. I noticed that sometimes when I'm in a place, I'm like, there's part of me that's trying to leave, like escape or get back home or be done. And it's like, I don't. until I'm back in my quote unquote perceived safe space, which is my home in front of Netflix with a comfortable blanket and my dog, then I feel slightly like I got to get back to that place. Right. And I remember years ago hearing that, like, when we're somewhere and we're trying to get somewhere else, it's a trauma response. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like, that's just a thing I've been doing my whole life. And it got me curious today to really journal and look at. And so I'm going to invite you guys to do this along with us. Where are you placing safety outside of yourself? Where are you placing safety in conditions? We'll be back with more in just a moment. But first, we wanted to invite you into something really special. This October, we're hosting a 5-day retreat in Palm Springs, California, called Recharge and Radiate, a Reiki infused desert escape. It's a sacred and playful space to return home to your truth, activate your purpose, and nourish your soul through daily ceremonies, movement, human design, sound healing, Reiki, and so much more, all under the desert sun.
We'll be at the stunning Drift Hotel surrounded by art, community, and magic. If your soul is craving depth, clarity, and soul-aligned community, we'd love to have you. Early bird pricing ends July 31st. Learn more and book your spot at the link in our show notes. Now back to the episode.
Emotionally and physically, right? For me, when a lot of people aren't around, when I'm in my home by myself. And then a lot of that too is authenticity as well. It's like, oh, great, I don't have to be on. I don't have to people please. I don't have to put on a show. And now I'm safe because I don't have to talk, right? I don't have to, yeah, not be myself. So the first thing is just bringing that into our awareness of where we're placing it, seeing it innocently. I'm also going on this big trip soon, and usually I find safety in quote unquote home. And I was like, goodness gracious, like our bodies try to protect us, our lives get really small when we think that when I am here, when I get here, when I am a certain way, when I hide, whatever our thing is that you uncover, then I'll be safe. And what I had to see today is that safety goes with you wherever you go, right? So I did a practice. I said these mantras to myself on the way to Trader Joe's today. I said, peace is here with me now. I don't need to escape to be safe. I can, even if I don't understand it right now, I can cultivate a sense of safety inside of myself. I am safe right now. Now, your brain might not believe these things at first, and that's normal. But the more you, not just like a shit affirmation that's just like, I'm just repeating a thing in my head, but you feel the truth of it. I was a different person in Trader Joe's, and it was almost like my higher self noticed, like, wow, like I was confident. I was secure. I was friendly. I noticed, and not in a cocky way, I was lighting up the place. People who were coming in despondent and closed in their energy, I wasn't trying. I was just feeling safer, and my desire was to connect. And I saw people's energy fields open, and I left and was like, whoa. Um, and then this is the end of this, but it was so nuanced. I thought, whoa, safety to me meant I don't engage with people. I keep my head down. I try to keep self-judgment or being judged by others to a minimum, whatever it might be. And when my consciousness and your consciousness starts to notice innocently, just with awareness, whoa, this is all the places I deemed a protective space, your natural confidence, security, resilience, abundance, all these opposite states just take up the space because it's it's default. And that's so weird when we've not experienced that our whole life. Because again, I get it. I've been queen of I don't feel safe. Where the fuck is safety? And rearranging it so I get some pseudo sense of safety. And this is mastery, you guys. We're asking you for courage because I know what this feels like to go enough with this pattern. Enough. Because you want to go into your cave. You just want to be like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to stay here the rest of my life. But it's not true safety. It doesn't get you to where you want to go. And the observation of the pain and the awareness that it is unconditional, it's a state of being, it's a new awareness you can retrain into your brain, is what you're actually looking for.
Mhm. Yeah. And it is incredibly nuanced whenever you can tap into that space within yourself. And whenever you were just talking now, it was bringing up, what safety act, like where the lack of safety comes from. And it's going to be different for everyone. But I was feeling earlier today that there was emotions that were wanting to come out. And I took a bath, like I tried to make them come out, which you're not, I knew they weren't going to come out when I made them come out, but I still tried anyway. So like, come on, I know it's coming. Let's get it over. um, and it's when I just like hugged my body and said, it's safe for you to go through this change. You are safe to go through this change. Emotions came up. So they didn't come up from me trying to figure out what the emotions were, what was, causing this physical thing I'm dealing with, trying to release it. They did not come until I really went into a space of compassion and telling my body, you're safe. And that's whenever it came up. And so I think that's normal too when you're tapping into this new state, that what is underneath the surface, it might want to come up to be seen, to be held with compassion. Um, and emotion, like for me, emotions, that's where my safety, it was not emotionally safe for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it lacked. And so I do feel like there's also a part of me that I've had to do a lot of work to be more and more open emotionally, because they used to scare the shit out of me, because emotions were scary. They were angry, they were volatile, they were, so, it wasn't necessarily safe to be vulnerable or safe. I didn't feel always safe to be vulnerable, safe to be myself, to express how I was actually feeling. And so I think just that part of me that felt safe, not, I wasn't trying to fix that part of me anymore. I just let that part of me feel safe and said, you are safe. You're safe to go through this change. It let that that part of me soften. I allowed myself to soften so that the energy and the emotions could start to move. So yeah, I think that you bring up some really amazing points, because as you said, it's all internal. There's nothing. I was laying in my bed. Yeah, my back hurt, but I was safe.
Mm.
In my environment, I'm emotionally safe. I was in my cozy bed, I was safe, and I still didn't feel safe,
Mm.
right? So it's like, and I'm like you, I've done so many things on my outer reality to try to make myself feel as safe as possible. And even the things that I'm aligning with and manifesting, there has to be an element. I want that element of safety. I want that element of like, I'm safe. It's a safe home. It's a safe home where I am. It's a safe home within myself. It's just, that's what I've always wanted ever since a kid. It was a safe home
Mm.
and emotionally safe home, all the safety, right, on every level. And whenever I'm, contemplating really where I'm putting my manifestational energy, it's that's the underlying energy of it. And it's like this, well, let's create this safe home within yourself all the time so that you can walk forth in that safe home that you've been craving. And then you will be able to feel safe whenever you go to like when you progress through these changes.
That's beautiful. I could feel that emotion in myself with safe home, because I think I relate to that, of wanting to find that. And it's painful to realize, oh my God, you've been searching for it in rules, in conditions, emotionally or physically. And it's a state of being one cultivates inside of themselves.
Mhm.
and we would have had that as a byproduct of safety in our childhood, but we don't know that. And you're having me think like some tangible tools, and there's a lot, but per this conversation, how can we feel safe inside? Well, the things I know are nervous system regulating tools. They assist us to regulate our nervous system, which cultivates a sense of safety in our physically in our body. Noticing where we place safety in conditions, calling our power back, like we're talking about today, finding those truth mantras to rewire your brain, learning to connect to your inner wisdom, your guide, your divine guidance, the unseen world. Like to me, it's like when there's that and you don't have to just rely on your patterns and trauma and brain, there's a sense of safety there. And the last one really is what we talk about a lot, self-love, self-kindness. When we are our own safe space, we feel safe. When we're not mean in our head. Now, those patterns will come and that's okay. We don't have to get mad that they're there, but it is to notice them, find a new truth. Notice them, find a new truth over and over again because um this can be retrained. You can transcend that pain when you see that it's a pattern. And it's really hard because it's like gosh, until today, I don't know if I fully saw that it's a pattern. It was just like, oh no, I'm can only rest when.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's so like really, you'll become aware of it, like my schedule. Okay, I don't have enough time between this and this. It's great to self-care. All of that's beautiful. But it was like so controlled in my mind because it's a beautiful parent I've created for myself of like not wanting to jam my calendar too full and blah blah blah. But I was like, if you just notice, whoa, I even placed it there. Whoa, I even placed it there.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Come back home, kindness, no affirmation, a regulation. And your brain will rewire around you're safe because you're connected to source and your higher self in every moment, no matter where you are. And, you have me wanting, and maybe that's spurred something in you or stirred up something in you, but you're having you want to unpack for us and for anybody listening this fear of shining as your authentic self, because I feel like there's something there to look at. Like, what is that mechanism that's coming in? Because my back, actually, the reason my back had gone out was because I did an event that was huge on stage. I met these amazing people, all these high frequency healers, celebrity healers. I spoke in front of more people than I have before, just a big event, and then back went out. And I was like, all right.
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
so my one thing, and then I'm going to pass it, is like, okay, can we just bring into our awareness safety doesn't live in um, hiding, right? Because it's like if we're afraid of shining as our authentic selves, we've placed safety in like, oh wow, I can't let myself be seen as that authentic, you
Mhm.
know? So yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to you and see like what's coming up for you here with this.
Oh, that, I mean, 100%. As soon as you said that, my body was like, yep, yep. I mean, that's a big, it's huge. It's huge. And all the intuition that I've been getting has to do with like, shine, let yourself shine, shine bright, and be
Mhm.
100%, be authentic self, be wildly you, like untamed you. And all of the ways that I conditioned myself, not even society, the ways
Mm,
that I conditioned myself to keep myself safe was to
mm,
gauge and say, okay, how am I supposed to show up here? Or if I didn't know how to show up, to hide.
mm.
And
Safety
so,
lives. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, no, what were you going to say?
Safety lives in external gauging. That's the pattern of like safety lives in external gauging. Safety lives in being aware of how you are receiving me
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
pattern.
Yes. That's 100% the pattern. And that it kept me safe in that because I feel that I was always like a different child. Like I always felt weird. Like how in our one workshop, like the freaks that like came up, right? Like, hey, we're the freak. Like you, I just
Oh
felt taken,
yeah. Yeah.
like freaks unite. We're all here now. But that's how I felt. I felt like, okay, I don't fit in. I feel weird. I feel like being my natural self is weird.
Mm,
So then, how do I try to hide all of that about me and see what you're doing
mm,
and mold that? But then, like, I could only do it to a certain extent. Like, there was only so much my inner being would still let me do that.
yes.
And I remember up until honestly, probably the last several years, people would call me unique. That was something that people would say to me, and I'd be so hurt by it because I
Mm,
didn't want that to me. That was, I'm bad. I'm weird. I tried so hard to be who I thought I should be, and you're still calling me a weirdo. Like, damn
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But now I love when people call me unique. Right now I'm like embracing it. So
Yeah.
it's just that further embrace, but it comes down to I conditioned myself to hide to keep myself safe.
Yeah. We are our own protection.
Mhm.
We are our own protection. You and all of us. Like you're really making me think too. So we've had all these awarenesses. That's Rachel's awareness, your awareness, my awareness going when we're around a group of people next. Okay, I have placed safety in, right? Placed it in watching Netflix and not being around people. I've placed it in their reactions of me being a certain way. I've placed it outside of myself, my perceived safety. And just that awareness brings more of you and your authenticity when you notice it. I've said this for years in my meditation classes. You see, when you see it and not be it, because the second you see it, the second you're around a group of people and you're like, shit, I'm doing the scanning thing. Oh, I've placed safety in the scanning thing, or any of us out there. It sounds like the people pleasing pattern that I've had to unwire.
Mhm.
Um, what's behind that? Like, you know, how I'm saying something else kind of takes its place, your true authentic spirit. I don't think you have to work hard when you notice the pattern. It kind of just like takes up the space that was like more of you comes. But is there something that, yeah, like you would say to yourself, like, hey, Rach, beyond the way their eyes are around you, beyond the way their expressions are around you, beyond the way their comments are around you, you have full permission. It is safe to allow yourself to be whatever shows up. Like,
Mhm.
is there something like that you would kind of say, or how do you, yeah.
That's a good question to contemplate. Because I feel like I'm moving further and further into this or expanding more and more into this. But there will be times that I know I have to self talk where I want to hold back and I'll have to
Mm,
tell myself,
mm,
it's safe. It's
mm.
safe for you to say this. It's safe for you to express this. And then that also lends the question, and I don't know how you feel about this because I use a lot of my intuition and it's of a benefit. It is certainly of a benefit of when to say something and how to say something.
Mm.
There are certain times that like I won't even bring up any of like the metaphysical stuff around certain people because I'm just like I get like a body like not a fear response but a body like no. Just it's just not going to hit. It's just not worth it. And that has served me, especially when I was working with one-on-one clients in being like, okay, how does this best, how do I best communicate this? How does this best come through? And that's really served me. So then how do you think that plays along? And then you can still, that, is that still a part of it when you're truly authentic or shining? Or do you just say what, like, how do those two things combine or do they? What do you feel?
Well, the first thing coming to me is that we always have a knowing. We always have a connection to common sense, inner wisdom. When we are, when we allow ourselves to let go of patterns, we are still there. Like our knowing and our awareness and our common sense and like you said, knowing what to say, what not to say. And so when we see that there's that higher self part of us that's always there, we don't need to play out the game of whatever we're playing out. It's like, oh, I'm still there. Like, I use this, what's coming up is this analogy with people allowing themselves to feel their emotions, because I talk a lot about that. And we can be afraid, oh gosh, if we go there, I'm going to go off my rocker. I'm going to lose control. I'm going to be chaotic and hysterical. And yeah, you might have a very big reaction, and you can find a safe container to do it in and allow it to be creative expression or whatever you choose to do, or work with a trauma therapist or trusted friends. But this might sound so simple, but like you're in there too. Your common sense that says your light, your wisdom, your connection to source, your higher self, your connection to God, your inner knowing is there at the same time your feelings are there, which it gives you that stability and that groundedness to go, oh, I'll know when to stop, or even in the heat of it, it's that still little quiet voice that's like, you're not going to die, you're not going to explode. I know you feel like you're going to die and explode.
Mhm.
So that's an analogy, kind of getting off the point, but just to try to share how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is because I guess in that moment, I was equating being authentic to speaking on a certain topic, which is a part of, I enjoy
Mhm.
talking about metaphysical anything. Hence why we have this podcast. We both do, like, we love it.
Mhm.
But I was equating being my most authentic self to like speaking on that one thing. But I'm still, my intuition is my most authentic, my higher self, my true essence. And when that's speaking to me and I'm honoring that, then that's still being authentic because I'm not at those moments, I wouldn't be holding back out of a fear response. I would be holding back. I think it's just noticing like where the pattern is playing out.
Could I open to the possibility of being authentic and discerning at the same time?
Perfect.
You
Yes.
can be authentic and still have discernment of the, like, spectrum that you're operating in your authenticity at any given time. So you're not closed in it. You're like, I'm me, and I'm discerning where to administer this right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I also, as I'm just like talking through this, I feel too that as we open up to more and more of this authentic expression, because that inner child part of me is like, well, what if it's not received? What if
Mm,
your worst nightmare happens? Right.
mhm.
And we can open, I love that. We can set intentions, we can open to the possibility I can be my authentic self and
Yeah.
be received with love because
Yeah.
everyone is a mirror for me. So we intend that we open to it. And at least for me, and I'm throwing it out there because I feel like it would be helpful to really, in those times, come back to yourself and give yourself that positive reinforcement. So you are your authentic self in a situation, however that shows up. And after you did that, instead of looking to see how you're received, build yourself up in your own mind. I'm so proud of you. How amazing you are in your uniqueness, and switch to that self-talk instead of immediately like looking to external and trying to gauge how it was perceived.
Yes, exactly. I'm writing down two things I had a similar experience with this week about feeling met. That was the word I used, and I'll share that with you in a second. But the antidote was, this may sound counterintuitive, but the first part of this was to tell your inner child, honey, it's okay if you're not received. So it's okay if you're received, it's okay if you're not received. And then, same thing you just said, I receive you. I receive you. And mine was, I was in this crazy controlling experience with my partner because I didn't feel like I was being met with the emotions I was in. It was like this, like, just missing the bar in the moment. And I was like, no. Well, what I realized, and why I've never learned this before, I'm not sure, but a mirroring practice is a great antidote for this. So, we've done all these amazing emotional transmutation exercises you and I talk about all the time. Mirroring is simply saying the thing back to yourself. So, say you do this amazing new talk and you are afraid or somebody didn't receive you. whatever you're feeling with that amazing new talk, maybe inside you're like, wow, this is extraordinary. So you're feeling awe and magic and badass. Well, literally, you say to yourself, how do you feel? So received and met are very similar qualities. And you would say to yourself, I feel badass and expansive and magic and like on cloud nine. And so you go, I see that you feel right back, mirroring. I see that you feel expansive and badass and magic and on cloud nine. And you are meeting yourself at the level. So you're mirroring identically the words and the feelings that you're feeling. So I was afraid of shining for so long because I'm like, same as you. Like, I'm unique. Nobody's going to fucking get this. I'm there. And, you come back into the world sometimes and it's not as expansive as you're having in those moments. So I think we prevent the pain of our expansiveness and shining because we aren't received and met. But when we know it's okay, you don't have to be received all the time. It's not going to be 100%. You don't have to be met all the time. It's not going to be 100%. I receive you when I meet you. And then when you have these badass, expansive experiences where you're shining as your authentic self, if you can meet yourself in those moments, it feels the same as if someone else was giving it to you. And then you attract more people that can meet you and receive you that way.
That's powerful. I love that. Oh,
That's it.
mm. And I feel like an eyelash in my eye. I feel like that is something you can use through this entire process of grounding in, embodying more and more feelings of safety to meet yourself where
That's it.
you are in those moments. And then
Oh,
all yeah, and then you step into the compassion and the love, and then you step into the telling yourself you're safe, right? It's like an ever expansive, but it's like just meeting you where I
yeah.
mean, because like when you think about it, like I remember because I got a lot of my validation of like achievements, right? So I was very like I had to like do good in school in my own brain to be like worth it. So like I would do good in school to get the A. And then I felt so good when I got the A. And then I got external validation for getting the A.
Mm-hmm.
And in what I do, it's not like a career or business, what I'm doing, my
Your
creations,
calling. Yeah, your
my
creation.
calling,
Yeah.
I've gotten over and over again, just create for the sake of creation. Let
Mm,
the sake of creation be enough. And that's really like the energy, like I'm like remind myself of that all the time, but it goes against everything, right? I would always, I would create to get the A, to get the right. And so to switch it, just to, I'm going to write this paper because, and build myself up like, damn, that was a good paper. That was
mm.
awesome. It flowed, or that was a little rough, but you got through it, right? Like meeting yourself, exactly what you said, like wherever it is, absolutely helps you detach from all of that conditioning in the external and needing it from the external. And then you can create for the sake of creation and just and meet that and just soak
Yeah.
up all the juicy goodness of being your authentic self to be your authentic self, creating something
It-
because you wanted to create it and then you did. And because it's like we do that and then we automatically look outside of ourselves. So I feel like that's such a beautiful tool that you can use in so many ways.
yeah, it's self-protection. It's light. It's as good as all the light bubbles and all the things we put around ourselves is the self-love and is the mirroring. Yeah, when you were talking, it was like safety lived in the A.
It lived in the A.
Just these continued places we've placed it, more and more
Mm,
awareness and I really heard with what you mirroring back and reflecting to me too. Safe, and I'm sure, my God, so many light workers are listening to this, healers, sensitive souls. Safe, perceived safety lives in the condition of hiding. And while it may have lived there momentarily, it doesn't have to anymore. And just the awareness of that, even just me saying that out loud makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I can open up my energy field more.
mhm.
It's not a my brain is telling me a thought that I'm believing inside my head because it's giving me a physical biologic response that makes me believe that it's true, that says, close your shoulders, look down, play small, whatever the hell hiding looks like.
Mhm.
And the more we have these in nervous system healing, they say self-corrective experiences where we have a new experience. Like my brain retrained today. I went to Trader Joe's. I cultivated a sense of safety inside. And I went, oh my gosh, people aren't so bad. When you're in a good mood, they open up and they're kind. Um, and then my brain will remember that as a new experience. So no matter what we've experienced in our lives, and I know sometimes it can be horrific and bad and heavy, we have the power within us to heal, to change, to shift with devotion and dedication and love and really realizing this quantum power, which is crazy. We don't know this, that like you doing the healing on you is enough, and can like, I wish we could see the energy of it. Sometimes I wish I could see what happened in Trader Joe's when I went like this, like matrix thing, like fucking colors and like, but like, my self love that opened. And I just feel like, yeah, anyway, knowing that you have that too. Um, it's to me like so empowering, especially if you felt powerless and unsafe. You're like, oh, I may not know how to yet, but let me feel the truth in what Jamie and Rachel are talking about. And let me just pray about this or open my mind to like, hey, maybe it lives inside of myself. And what does that look like for me? And,
Mhm. Do you remember the movie The Secret? Did you ever watch the movie?
yeah, I loved it.
That's when you're do you remember how they would do those like visuals like, oh, Johnny set the intention for a new bike and then it'd show bike and have all this like force
Mm.
field around it. That's like the image that I got whenever you're saying that.
Woo! Yeah, man, it's fuck, I know. And I'm seeing right now when we look to the external for proof that we can like be safe and stuff like that. It's just not, I mean, use your inner wisdom. Don't be reckless. Like that's the whole point we're saying is our knowing can say, I was in the fires. I didn't just stay in my home doing a mantra. My inner wisdom went, go here. There are physical, practical things like leave your home, go to someone else's home, stay away from the smoke. Like there are when we are in a deep sense of internal safety, there are action steps. There's a physical actualization of this internal state. So that's good to know too, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There have been many times where I have been miraculously protected,
Mm.
guided somewhere else. I know that, I think many of us can say, well, yeah, but all these bad things happen to me too. But I'm sure that everyone, if you think about it, if you open up to it, you can recollect a time where you were just divinely taken care of, where
Mm.
you did have that inner knowing, or things just worked out for you, right? And it was typically in my most vulnerable when I had no resistance because I couldn't, because I was so vulnerable. The universe, it's like things just the right people or the right timing, it just unfolded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, so I would invite anybody who is listening to this just to take a moment to, I'm sure that contemplation went on when we were talking about it, but maybe taking a moment to think, okay, how do I want to now implement this if it did resonate? And Jamie gave several amazing tools, easy to do, sim- that don't have a lot of steps.
Yeah.
Simple. What do they say? Simple, but not always easy. Or they maybe,
Simple, but not always easy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Simplified.
simplified. Yeah. I know it was an expander. This conversation was definitely an expander for me.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Just, recapping, just notice. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of good nuggets in this, but just notice where you place it on any level. Pray about it. I surrender this up to my higher power. And then begin to cultivate that sense of safety within with find some mantras that feel good. Use the ones Rachel and I used. Maybe even just the awareness of where you've placed it will let more of your soul fill itself in.
Mhm.
Um,
Notice the patterns without shame
mm,
of how it's showing up. Oh, I just was my authentic self and I looked immediately for external validation. That's okay. That's okay. That's your pattern. Then meet yourself where you are and build yourself up.
mm. I place safety and validation. Whoopsies, doesn't live there.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we know? We just check. How do I really feel deeply 10 out of 10 safe? No. My brain just, and our brain's super sweet. It's going, this is where it is. Nope, nope, this is where it is. Nope, this is where it
Mm-hmm.
is. Nope, this is where it is. Because that's what it's learned. And then we check it and we go. But truly deeply internal, the peace that patheth what's the word? Patheth all understanding. The Jesus quote. Patheth.
Jesus
Patheth?
quote.
The Jesus, the patheth peace. I can't even fucking talk.
That definitely was a Jesus quote.
But yeah, use that mantra. It'll be all right. Yeah, and really, angels, like, we're so afraid and we have reason to be. And we get to the other side and we go, oh my gosh, I'm okay. And I didn't need to, not that we didn't need to it in a shaming sense, but like over here on the other side of this, I'm all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all right. And so just to know that kind of gives you that courage and faith, not blind faith, but just to be like, oh, man, I've been through some things. And this was the analogy of animals was coming in because we can get stuck in these trauma loops, but biologically, we're meant to recalibrate. We're not meant to stay stuck in feeling unsafe or afraid or whatever it is for long extended periods of time. And when we see our nature is, yeah, that happens, we are not excusing our pain. We talk a ton about that. Um, and we're not worthy and deserving of staying there either.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a portal, a way to support yourself in coming back into your birthright um, of safety and shining as your
Mm-hmm.
authentic self.
And I'm here to tell you from somebody who's manifested a shit ton of crazy, cool, awesome things because just like to do it and I focus a lot of my time and I'm good at it. Um, if you don't feel safe now, you won't feel safe then.
Mm.
It's just another thing not to feel safe in. So give yourself the time to recalibrate, as my lower back is now telling me.
That's it. That is not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing.
Oh, you had to laugh. Let's just laugh. Makes it a
Because
little better.
I get it, babe. Well, we are setting the intention that you guys all hear exactly what you need to hear, that we leave with a deep feeling of divine safety, and that you become a permission giver for others around you and your local Trader Joe's and beyond to feel safe and grounded and happy and whole too. So, yeah. Wow, man. Good
Mm,
stuff.
good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you guys.
yeah, guess we're complete.
We are complete. Share it with your friends. If you have anybody that feels unsafe or anxious or is a light worker that wants to feel safer, like, please do share this with anybody that you feel could benefit.
Yeah, or you can rate it, the comment in the show notes if anything, the comments wherever it's called. If anything resonated, or if you have any tips for
Mm,
somebody else that has worked for you, we can help one another.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, stay tuned till next time.
We never know what's going to come up every episode. We just completely flow with it.
We're going to have some good stuff coming up because we're
Yes.
doing some fun traveling.
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, we love you guys and we hope to hang out energetically with you soon.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on The Remembering.
If you loved this episode, share it with the soul you love, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the magic.
Until next time, trust the unseen and remember who you are.